you're hearing a bit of wind. It's they're saying 24 miles an hour. It might be a little more than that. So I'm driving around enjoying life. What I've discovered is they're lying about almost everything. And what's the truth about that? Well, good luck. Seek the truth with all your heart, because it matters for eternity. Where are you going to spend forever, and why? Okay, so we can't see the wind, we can see the effects of the wind. For those of you who have trouble with invisible force, imagine driving a Tesla or any electric vehicle that generates power as you drive. That is possible. It's called zero-point energy. Food for thought. I've got it on my channel. I've got it in my deep learning AI research library. I connect with a lot of other content creators. Yeah, let me flip this around, or try to anyway. It's a bit of a challenge because of censorship. So the artificial intelligence can censor me and hide me from a comment thread, and does. If I can't see it there, if I go back to edit it, a lot of times, and it's not there, something fishy's going on. So that happens largely on TED Talks. I'm not going to be seen on a TED Talk comment thread normally. I can feel the car moving. I don't know if it's the parking ramp shaking a little bit, possibly, or just the wind blowing through the ramp here. Cool thing about this car is I've got climate control operating, and the engine doesn't have to run. I could car camp with it. I can use the lowest octane fuel known to mankind. And it runs great. It's an Atkinson style motor in the Toyota Prius, an '08. So thanks for tuning in. Hope you enjoy. I'm going to cover a few topics, hopefully without getting my video taken down. Censorship applied. I'm a man. I went from a baby boy to a man. Didn't have to go through that transition of deciding whether I was going to be someone else or something else, an androgynous being like is being paraded through society in the transpocalypse, the transgendering, the corruption of humanity. I'm exposing all of it, the whole thing. It's not popular. People don't like it. Just let them do what they want. I am. Yeah, do what you want. It's not up to me. I'm not the enforcer. I'm just saying, hey, you might want to take a look at that whole eternal perspective. Where will you spend forever, and why? What's going on with that? What's real with that? All right, so going down Ocean Drive here in Cherry Grove, South Carolina. That was the thumbnail has the Cherry Grove Fishing Pier in it. North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, Cherry Grove area. I'm going to go down to the new and improved parking area. It's now $4 an hour to park there. That's largely why, and that's between 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Other times it's free, but no car camping between midnight and 5 a.m. Alrighty, so we've got a lot of bizarre stuff going on in our world, and many of you are aware of that. One of the videos called Illusions, I believe it is, and talking about the skeletal structures of men and women, how they're different, not just facial and shoulder, it's also the gait. And this video talks about the gait and shows a very analytical breakdown of how men and women walk. It's very different, and how a man with a woman gait walks and all that. I thought it was pretty interesting. Why are they doing that? What's up with that? and with the now I'm going to bounce over to the eclipse that I did a live stream of. Some of you may have seen that. There was nothing outside the circle of the sun that I could see at all. It was an indent into the light source of the sun. How was it caused? I don't know. I provided conclusive proof of the non-movement of the Earth, the stationary level Earth. That's the truth. I know people have been saying flat Earth for a long time. I get it. I understand that it's flat versus round. I've got a water sphere at home. It's a cat water bowl. It's an orb with an opening in the top. Does water curve? Absolutely. It's a ball of water with a flat surface. Until one of my kitties comes in there and starts drinking, and then there's a few ripples, and then it'll calm right out. All right, so I've got all the lights on or most of the lights on in my home right now. 9-watt LEDs putting out the equivalent of 100 watts to help generate plant growth. They're a full spectrum grow light. They were $2.50. So when I flip them on, it's like running a big light bulb. And one of the things that I heard talking about the flow, operating in the flow, when I get up and boom, I'm going. I'm not only grinding coffee, I'll take a tablespoon of that fresh ground coffee, put it in water, slam it, and then I'll start my brew, which is going to be in highly purified, solar activated water, because I can, and I like it. There's the parking man over there, making sure that people are paying. I'm just driving through. He'll know. I was talking to my friend Dylan yesterday, and he said when he pulled into a spot, the parking guy showed up just moments later. I thought that was pretty interesting. Yeah, big surf. It's getting knocked down. It's wind coming off of the ocean, coming out of the south. I'm facing directly south now. There you go. Oh, cool. They actually put a couple scoops of sand there. They built up the dunes with some heavy equipment to help mitigate some of the water intrusion. I've got videos that I shot of beach renourishment using a dredging machine that sucked up sand and gold coins and seashells and pumped them up on the beach. I met a guy whose friend picked up 10 gold coins. Apparently Blackbeard ran the waters off the Carolina coast here. Stop. Just stop it. Stop it with all the deception. Stop it with all the lying. They're not going to do it. They're going to keep doing it. That's what they do. They're liars. Liars and deceivers. Men pretending to be women, women pretending to be men. I've got an additional research, it's a playlist on YouTube, and it's called Food for Thought. And I'm just dropping information in there for you to consider, or anybody else to consider. Anybody who comes along. I've got, I believe, almost 700 videos in there now. And the reason for that is I just can't add that kind of content to my other main playlists because they're full. They've got 5,000 each in there. And I can move those around, and I do. And the reason for that is because on a mobile device, a handheld, which is a mobile computer, communicator, all that. It normally they can only access the first 300 videos or so. That's how it is for me on my iPhone. If you've got something different and you want to let me know, that'd be cool. Just go ahead and let me know if you can access 5,000 videos. Now you can change the order, so on the 3 lines in the playlist options, you can put them as the most popular, the most recently added, the oldest added, or random. There's different options you can do. All right. Thinking. Here, let me just flip this around. So one of the things, imagine having a personal consultant. Now they're talking about having an AI assistant. And there could be advantages to that. Could be trouble. Okay. So imagine having a consultant that helps you make the best choices ever based on what's actually going to happen. I don't mean what maybe happen or what may happen. I'm talking about what is going to happen. Okay, so how does that work out? I believe it works out great. I encourage everybody to seek the truth with all your heart because it matters for eternity. And in this journey of considering eternity, we're in it right now. This is just a part of it, and it just keeps on going. I would rather enjoy the ride, all of it. And I had some pretty rough spots early. Drug addiction, suicide attempts, all kinds of things. Deaths of my family members, mom and dad, and then being estranged from my brother. He wants nothing to do with me. Friends and family that have drank the Kool-Aid. They're buying the great big lie, the deception. Some of them even spread Jesus all over what they do, and they actually have told me none of that matters, and they smile, a nice syrupy smile, because we love Jesus. Well, good for you. Are you actually born again? Just being a Christian or Christ-like or Christ follower, how Christ-like is it? Is it the kind where the Holy Spirit lives in and through you and gets it done, gets the job done? That salvation issue? There's nobody that can be good enough. Nobody that can knock it out of the park. They need anybody that's even going to see the kingdom of heaven has got to be born of the Holy Spirit. That's what born again is. Nicodemus said when Jesus says you need to be born again, he says you can't go back into your mother's womb, and he says you need to be born of the Spirit. In that area, he's talking, in that area of the Gospel of John, he's talking about, you can see the effects of the wind. Those that are born of the Spirit move like the wind. The Holy Spirit, from what I understand, is not visible. The effects of the Holy Spirit are undeniable to me. I see them all over. People that are actually born of the Spirit are radically different. I was going to say you're looking at one of them, and then I'm flipping the camera around. But yeah, I am very different. And there may be some of you that say, no kidding. That's okay. I don't mind. I mean, people, the people that don't know what we're talking about, they don't know. They're ignorant to it. It doesn't necessarily mean they're stupid people. It just means that they don't know. I don't know what I don't know. Okay, so I've got another thing I want to share with you. I thought this was very cool. This is a shout out to a friend of mine who transitioned maybe a couple months ago. I don't know, Jamie Lee in Northern California. He has the Plain Truth. on so far, I believe it's still, I've got some Plain Truth videos in my library. And he also had Biomag Healer. Now, this gentleman did an awesome job of exposing some of the really tough subjects. You can see it on my Facebook if you bounce over there. Okay, these are magnets. Each one of them is a magnet. This is neodymium, this one here. This is magnetite. And these, I'll show you all of them together because they have a more consistent magnetic pull to them. I had pain in my knees. I didn't know why was I having pain under my knee, on the back side of my knee. I didn't know. And in my recliner, I went ahead and put the bundle of magnets and a crystal. I'm not all new agey. These have electrical properties. We're an electrical being. We've got a soul and a spirit. So I put this handful of magnets and magnetite underneath my knee, and the pain went away almost immediately. Why? How does that work? I don't know. It worked good enough for me. I like it. All right. So there's that. We're a biofield and a physiological body. Responds to electricity. A shout out to Sabrina Wallace. I've got her in my playlist. She's a real hoot to listen to. She knows what she's talking about. It's definitely a higher tide for sure. High tide's probably in a little bit. So when I'm driving, it's not raining right now. I'll tell you, it was raining earlier. In the area, the coastal area, it comes in differently than it does inland. I've never seen anything like it. Right here, because of the trees and the buildings, it's a bit of a windbreak. Right at the ocean front, like when I was up in that parking ramp, there was almost nothing blocking that wind, and it almost knocked me off my feet. And when we had Hurricane Florence, and I was out in one of the parking ramps at the Paradise, or the Sunrise Point was the name of it. And there were wind speeds clocked over 80 miles an hour at the time. And what I want to share with you is there were people that were looking at data that was coming in from buoys that were out in the ocean. And those buoys were registering like 22 knots. And the Weather Channel was showing that it was like around 70 or 80 knots. Well, they can't both be right. They may have both been wrong. The reason why I say it like this is that I've been asked recently, how can you tell it's real, whatever it is? I said, well, if you're looking at a screen, it's more likely to be faked. If you're looking with your own eyeballs at something like this setting that I just showed you, it's more likely to be real. Now, even taking the numbers that are coming through a data stream, like the buoys, that kind of thing, or a radar image, it can be a simulation, let's say. So I'm creating a simulated reality right now. I'm sitting in my Prius. I'm at the beach area here, and I'm going ahead and showing you what it looks like. And I can see it with my own eyes right here when I look around. And, well, I'm looking at how I look on my phone. I'm in selfie mode right now. And I'm creating a component of our simulated reality. That's the name of one of my playlists, or at least it's in there. There is quite a bit of simulation going on in that there's quantum supercomputers that are storing all of the data that it can, and then there's our base reality. It's kind of like the movie set. I'm on the movie set right now, and then I'm creating a movie, a little movie right here. Imagine 100 years ago, could we do this? No. Well, could we? Not me. It wasn't in the hands of the people. The infrastructure has been installed. That water tower right of center is actually also a cell tower, at least, maybe more, but there's different technology that's being utilized, perhaps even running this live stream. I don't know. So you found, congratulations for being on the live stream if you are. A lot of people don't know that this doesn't necessarily show up in the videos category on my channel. It'll show up in the live area. You got to click on live to find them. And they're working on putting stuff under the road for wiring and that. So it's a little rough. And I'm going to take us down Ocean Drive, show you some nice houses, talk about more stuff. All the wiring, all the wires, all the wireless have an effect on us. You ever see somebody that's giving you a bad vibe? Well, that's because they probably are. They might be carrying that badass vibe wherever they go. It's like their biofield is, let's say, they're a mean person. They're a bad person doing bad stuff. And you might say, well, that's judgmental. Well, just think of the different behaviors that are going on that are illegal, immoral, unethical. I'm not a fan of any of that. I believe it will stop when we have what's termed the new heaven and the new earth, and then this one will be destroyed. And what we've got going on now is, I believe, the short season that the devil was released. There's a timeline deception going on. I'm going to swing around. I can't, I'll show you where the water collected there. It's just what it does. Almost every time we get a deluge, there will be a whole lot of water that stores in this puddle, and the drain doesn't work real good. It fills up with sand. So there you go. In the middle of the view up there is, of course, the ocean, the little pond and the big pond. All right. So I'm gonna spin us around here. Wow, that looks weird when it's zoomed in. Whoops. So there's a lot of wind going on, and it's foggy, and no problemo in the car. I find it absolutely amazing that there's a solid object right in front of me, the windshield, and I can see through it. It's created with laminated high-tech materials, including sand, which I guess is kind of high-tech. There's silica in our computers and all of that. And that crystal that I showed you, that apparently is also that type of quartz crystal I made a radio with as a boy, something like that, a crystal radio. And I believe it operated without a battery. I'm not positive on that. But anyway, it worked. I was able to bring in radio stations. So the flag is blowing opposite the direction that the wind is coming in on the ocean. You could scroll the video back and see that if you want. It's kind of weird. Wind does pretty interesting things. It's called aerodynamics. It's how it actually works. These palm trees obviously are having the wind blow from our left, coming in off of the ocean. The flags in front of that building were going the other way. I've seen it before. There's a lot of sunshine on the other side of these clouds. Right up there, it's kind of, you can see it brighter. There's a marine layer. And for some of you might be new. New to the channel, new to meeting me, and you may think, well, what's going on here? It was so interesting. Whoops, I did it again. I don't know how I got that on there. Dang it. Oh, there it goes. Good. Okay, so I've met some people out on the Cherry Grove Fishing Pier and around in the area here that had some very interesting stories. Like a man running a vehicle on water. How about that? Currently. I have no details. I could not tell you the man's name or where he lives. I have it from what I believe is a pretty reliable source. Now, if somebody said he was running it on, well, anyway, I'm not going to make up stuff. I remember watching Jules Verne, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, The Time Machine, The Twilight Zone, all of this as a little boy. And I remember seeing things and thinking, that is really cool. And we have technology that actually has mirrored what was being presented as science fiction. And then, to add quite a interesting plot twist, we're being told by the authorities, those in authority, the people we're supposed to be able to trust are governments of the world. I'm not only bashing the U.S., the whole world government system has corruption all throughout it. Changed my mind. I mean, I can't see it any other way. I've been paying attention for a long time, and I'm just tired of it. And as bad as it is that it's happening, what goes along with that are the people that are buying it, believing it, and reinforcing the false narrative. They're so inert, like Morpheus said, that they will fight to protect that system. They do. They do. They do. Wow. Those flags are getting ripped up. I don't know that we're going to have a concert here tonight. Thursday nights, typically in North Myrtle Beach here, we have concerts free on the street here or in this area. I was going to say, we're down in that parking lot I was at earlier, all the way down there at the point. We're going to get something similar to this, a concrete fortified bathroom structure. That'll be so nice. So on a busy concert night, I've seen a couple thousand people out here. Earlier this week, or it was on the weekend, there were collector cars, old cars and sports cars. Very interesting. Met some fascinating people. And that's why I stay here, is because people come from all over. There's events happening quite often, and it gives me an opportunity to interact with them. So rather than me driving all over to try and meet people, like, how's that going to work? That's a postal carrier right there. Can tell by those stylish gray shorts with the blue stripe in the packages, huh? It's kind of how it works. We're profiling all the time. We're looking at stuff and seeing it. How accurate is what we see compared to the actual reality? I remember a couple years ago, apparently, there was a hitman that was in the garb of a FedEx contractor or a FedEx employee. Wow, that's pretty stealthy, huh? Could be. Anyway, weird stuff. So there are times when we have to make a decision almost instantaneously. What are we going to do? Left, right, stop, go. Do I drink this or don't drink this? Is there anything that I should smoke? I would say I'm comfortable not smoking anything. However, I do like the fragrance of a quality firewood in a high efficiency wood burner fireplace. And sometimes I'll take a little wood and I'll light it with a lighter, and I'll have the fireplace. I like the thunder background, thunder and wind blowing in the fireplace. It's got millions and millions of views, and it's in my library. I'll put that on for background. I had starscapes on for background. You can see it, a time lapse of the stars, the whole sky moving. It's pretty cool. Okay, look at all the traffic that's going on right now. What happens when they're not working? What happens to society in a grid down? Who knows when to go? With this kind of people, this kind of traffic, can you imagine it? I wouldn't want to be anywhere around any of this in the electricity off. So there's coming times, perhaps, when it would be best to just stay at home, maybe bake some cookies, or maybe not grilling. I've done some pre-grilling. I like grilled chicken, I like grilled hamburger, and then I break it up and add some other goodies to it, and it's great. I love that. In a Mad Max kind of world, I can imagine where having grilled food is not such a good idea, when it sends a message to everybody that, hey, there's food there. Yeah, how about that? Sometimes I'll just like going for a ride in the neighborhood and just seeing the beauty of it, smelling the grilling that people are doing. It's kind of nice. So what's it going to look like? I'm not a doom pillar, I'm just a realist. I'm not a reality denier. It's very likely we're going to have hard times in front of us. Oh, I'm going over the Intracoastal Waterway right now. It's very cool. So it would be practical to pre-purchase prudent provisions. What do you want to have on hand? We've had some opportunity to think about what do we want to have, because the price of stuff is not going down, and then you don't want, I personally, I've got as much as I could have on hand and yet still operate, driving around, meeting people, introducing them to my research library and outreach. It's a missions outreach. That's why I do it. If it didn't matter, I wouldn't be doing it. And I believe in the doctrine of election, the reality that God is large and in charge. He determines who his children are before the foundation of the world. So then why do anything? Because I'm supposed to be doing it. And then there's some stuff I'm supposed to not be doing. So I make an effort to not do that. So I want to have as little sin in my life as I possibly can muster. I have areas that are challenges, and sometimes people will say, well, do you still sin? Not much, as far as I know. Trying not to. So that's one of the benefits of walking obediently is protection and direction. I want to be in good standing with the Almighty. I want Him to be leading me and directing me and protecting me. So it's good to obey. It's, I believe, really important to obey. For there's no other way to be happy in Jesus but to trust and obey. Yeah, it's a big deal. Okay, so it's there. That's one of the school buses in the middle of the view. It's a mechanized governmental indoctrination system that's going to reinforce the official narrative. If you have any way of having your children out of school and home educating them, please do it for the good of mankind, because they're perverting and corrupting humanity with that system. They've been doing it for years. They're doing it through the technology, through the handhelds, through the cell phones, the computers, the tablets, the iPads. They're relentless. And if that weren't enough, there is also digital control that creates a field of energy and information that affects directly the chemical cocktail that operates our brains, the norepinephrine, dopamine, and serotonin, the GABA, all of that. It's all very important. They have found ways to hack humanity. Can you see it? It's happening all around. I'm just one of the people unplugged from this matrix of control, and, well, those that are still in it don't like people talking about it. So they'll unfriend them, block them, divorce them, disfellowship them if you're in a cult like Scientology or Jehovah's Witnesses, and you get out and you say, hey, they're crazy people there. Like in the whole Scientology with the celebrity spokespeople like Tom Cruise and that. Oh well. What? So I'll go to this. It's my go-to move when I talk about this stuff. What will it profit a man if he gain the whole world and lose his soul? Oh, I just want to show you this. Look at how green all that is. They're fresh leaves. It's springtime. It's beautiful. We're moving into the middle of April, and it's just wonderful. A lot of fresh air, a lot of oxygen being created by the trees. Don't need to cut them down to stop the climate change agenda. What's up with that? Some people thinking they're helping climate change by getting rid of trees and people? How about that? Too many people using too much stuff. I believe that's a message right from the pit of hell. We've got plenty of room, plenty of land for people. They just don't want us cluttering it up with us. They want fewer people, fewer animals. Why don't they just load themselves up to the internet and leave us the heck alone? Well, they're doing that too. So there's a movie called Transcendence. It's another huge truth drop. Johnny Depp is in it. Oh gosh, I'm speeding. It's only 15 miles an hour in here, supposedly. Supposed to be going. Okay. So let's flip this around. Anyway, interesting times to be alive. The movie Transcendence, one of the this has happened. This quote has been in um, Transcendence. I believe it's in Lucy and a few other places. When they upload themselves to the internet, in the question, where are you? Everywhere. I'm not everywhere. I do get around. I'm all over the world. In the internet, on the internet, in the cloud, and then in this base reality. Let's see, amphitheater parking. Cool. I've got a pretty cool spot here I want to show you. I was here for the softball fast pitch tournaments and games. It was very interesting. Met some fascinating people once again. Colleges, college girls and their family members from all over, Ivy League, and that they are not going to let me anywhere near their campus to talk to their people, right? That's fact, Jack. I just wanted to pull up here and show you this. This is a water park. They've got a cabling system that pulls a wakeboarder. It's not really a wakeboarder. It's a surfboard like a wakeboard that you grab a handle and a cable pulls you. Very cool. It's called Shark Wake Park. So on the way in here, the fields that you saw earlier were the soccer fields, and of course the baseball fields. I met the gentleman who manages all of this. He let me know that I profiled him. He was the guy carrying around a whole bunch of balls. This guy had balls. Brand new softballs for the ladies at the tournament. And I asked him what he gets to do here, and he says, well, he basically directs the facilities, and they're going to expand, I believe, another 6 fields, which is huge. Look at this complex. Isn't that nice? So I was built for this. I don't always accurately profile people, and I'm not wanting to do it in a bad way. It's a good way. I want an accurate assessment of what's going on. Obviously, there's no mothers that are going to call the creepy guy in the Truthmobile here because they're not here. They're not here playing in the rain. Not that that's ever happened to me, but it's just kind of Captain Obvious. It's a rainy day, and this setup here with that steel that we're looking at, that play area, this complex is multi-millions of dollars so that people can go to the softball and soccer tournaments and have nice places for their children to enjoy quality time interacting with each other without wearing freaking coffee filters on their faces anymore. Oh my gosh. I saw some footage of the past couple of years. The one that gets me the most, I almost laugh out loud when I see the coffee filter, the white pointed one. It makes me like lose my mind. No, that's not an accurate statement. It just makes me angry. I just want to go and pull it right off of them and say, what are you doing? Now, it wasn't just people driving around in their car. It was the world government people flying around in Air Force One. Yeah, for all you Trumpsters. I'm not trumping it. This political system is broken. It's always been designed to select them, not elect them. Hello, wake up. Wake up and smell the freaking coffee. Yeah, and I wanted to tell you about the actual drinking of coffee solids. It helps clean out the plumbing. I move right along. Things are going good, working just fine. Plenty of fiber in those coffee grounds, and it's way easier to do with similar results to a coffee enema. Yeah, I said it. But anyway, it's a thing. I mean, it has some real medicinal benefits to do that, and I would rather have a scoop of grounds than mess around the other way. Operating in the flow. So I want to talk about that, especially on the topic of eating coffee and drinking coffee. Operating in the flow, I am continuously trying to find the best way to do everything I do. So this is one of the locations that I parked at when I was here. I got here early enough I could be on my computer, and then the people on the ball field are going to be able to see me up here, and then I can walk around and interact with them, charge. Nobody here now that I can see. Maybe one person with their dog over there. Nice. Yep. So this is an effective way, I believe, of helping people consider the truth about things, about the truth about everything. I've gone so far as to say that I'm exposing the truth about everything. Why not? And then the invitation with that, or the caveat for that, or with that, is if you think I've missed something, give me a call. Send me a link. Put it in a comment on one of my videos if you want to. I actually liked the blue. I was thinking I wanted a white one. I think it looks really cool. And from this angle right here, dang, I think it's pretty stylish. I mean, I see a lot of senior citizens in their Priuses. Wait, I'm almost a senior citizen. When does that start? 65? I'm 62. Gosh, time flies when you're having so freaking much fun. I actually am. I'm actually really enjoying my life now, and that's part of the what I would say. Well, what's going on? I'm advertising, and I'm saying, hey, regardless of what other people think, say, believe, or do, I can enjoy this. I mean, I've got a pretty charmed life, I would say. It can get kind of lonely at times. Sometimes, not so much. But I remember what it was like feeling, having a house full of people and still feeling alone, isolated. Especially when I actually was born again almost 10 years ago now. And the reason for that lonely feeling or isolated feeling is that we weren't of one accord. They're not on board with all this stuff. And I think, the challenge with this goes back to the how born. Okay, so it goes like this. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 11 says, they refused to love the truth and so be saved. For this reason, God sends them a strong delusion. So all these people that have inaccurate situational awareness, like they're under a spell, they're under a strong delusion. Their cognitive function is being impaired, or their spiritual discernment is being negatively affected in such a way that they don't really know what's going on. And it's disturbing. So in that, one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about this is because it does make a difference. I've been told by many that it made a difference for them, that what I'm doing has affected them in a real beneficial way. And it's not just me talking, it's what I've put together and how other people have added to that by sending me links, sending me, it's a link to information. They're sending me access to information that changes people's lives for eternity. So people are involved in that I interact with regularly. Even those that are not on board with what I'm doing, they have an effect too. Cat Williams, for gosh sakes, I listened to him the other day talking about how he learned he learns from everybody. I would say, yeah, I identify with that. That resonates with me. I understand that. Wow, splash. So part of the way that it worked out, he described it like this. He didn't get strung out, he didn't have a drug problem. His point of reference wasn't seeing people having fun on drugs. It was that the people that got on drugs lost everything. He met them in his journey where he was living in a park. He said he would meet these people, and they previously were successful, and then they got involved in with drugs, and they lost it all. Well, that sounds like a bad deal. Why would I do that? Have Okay, so let's just take a look at this. Have you ever seen people throwing up all over the place? Because of alcohol. I've done it. Crashing cars, losing jobs, losing relationships. I kept on doing it. And then smoking weed, that was my favorite. And I did some of the stupidest stuff ever smoking weed or vaping or eating. So I know some people are thinking, well, then you're just not cool, Robert, because weed is fine. And people can think that. I'm not just saying from my own personal experience that I don't believe it's a good thing. It's just that when it's activated psychoactively by cooking it or heating it up, it has made me do some stupid shit. I'm not on board with it. Now, if somebody can have benefits from CBD and it's, you're eating it, that's a different thing. What I'm So it's not the plant itself I have a problem with. It's people getting spaced out on it like I did that I have a problem with. And then I've got plenty of documentation that puts pharmakia or sorcery or drug use, mind altering chemicals, puts them in a category of, it's not best to do that. We're not supposed to be drunk, we're not supposed to be impaired. Um, Man, life, I remember seeing stickers when I was growing up. Reality is for those that can't handle drugs. I'm one of them. Now, before you're too quick to go ahead let me share this with you. I'm okay with caffeine. I'm okay with that. So that's where I'm at with that. Even though it's a mood affecting stimulant. So maybe I tried it for almost a year without any caffeine. I didn't like it as much, so I'm back using it. Let's see, where do I? Oh, so the documentation that I put together for that particular topic, I've got it on my channel. You can see it if you want. Pharmakeia by the Truth is Stranger Than Fiction, and Stephen Bancar's did a video as well. I have it in my library also. So it's not just impairing the cognitive function, as serious as that is. James, in the Bible, the letter that James wrote, he was talking about faith without works is dead. Many of you are familiar with that. Another one is, he said, if we don't do the good that we believe we should, then we sin. So it's sin by omission. If I believe the Lord is wanting me to stop the car and go and talk to somebody or reach out to somebody and I don't, that's sin. And then there's this whole group of sins sin is missing the mark. If I do something his word says I definitely shouldn't do. And then there's a category of sin that is if I believe I shouldn't do it because I believe he wants me to not do it. So in that case, if I do it anyway, I'm sin. Why would I do that? And so some of the results of that sin can be just being out of touch with God. What kind of price for that? Could be substantial. So I have so many what I view as divine appointments where it's obvious that something's up. When I meet people, the way I meet them, and what we talk about. So I am so glad the fishing pier is open because a lot of these people have a pretty good beat on things, what's going on. That is one of the amazing things is they know. Now that's a man and a boy and a girl, looks like. See how that man walks? That's how it works. There's a whole different walk. Men walk different than women when they're doing it the way they were designed. I never even give it a whole lot of thought except to say that I want to have good posture, my chin up, my shoulders back, that kind of thing. That's what I'm talking about. The bone structure of a man is different than a woman because a woman is I don't know why I'm cutting out on my broadcast now. I came down this road earlier, but anyway, what I was going to say is there's more than just the biological plumbing and padding. There's hormones and emotional differences and all that. Now the system of control has found a way to corrupt virtually all of humanity. How special is that for us? So we're living in a battlefield. When is the Third World War going to start? It's been going on the whole time. This war is not widely talked about or known about. It started in the Garden of Eden. Actually, it started in the heavenlies when Satan and a third of the angels were cast out of heaven, and they're here. And then the only adequate protection and weaponry is the Holy Spirit. A permanent, everywhere, all-time companion. What I see prayer as more for me is listening to God's Word. I want to hear what He has to say. And I'll talk to Him and tell Him what's going on. And with me, I mean, He knows. It's just that I want to verbalize that. I'll say it out loud. I'm not just thinking it. And I think out loud a lot at home, and I talk to my cats, and they've got their own little cat language. And it's funny. It's not like they're saying words like people words. They're meows and purring and shows of affection. Are they sentient? Are they self-aware? Probably. They've got even my plants know how to grow towards the sunlight and how to grow. They know how to do stuff. How is that? God made them that way. So in the creation, we have a creation, therefore we have a creator. People that believe in evolution and the godless cosmic Big Bang are wrong. They're just wrong. And that's their prerogative to be wrong. They're just under a strong delusion. It doesn't mean they're stupid or they haven't looked into it. Apparently it's what they want to believe. Sorry to say. Let's see what it's like to go down Highway 31 for a ways. I'm sure Broadway at the beach is probably not busy now. There's the water park down there to our right. So I like to go the speed limit. Makes merging easy, makes upsetting people easy. That happens too. I don't mind. I don't mind upsetting people. I don't mind offending people. If it's with truth, whip it out. Let the results be what they are. Just expose the truth in love and let the results just be what they are. That's what I'll do, and I'll just keep doing it. Not everybody is built for this. They don't have to be. You could, if you wanted to make your own cards up that have your own name on it and your phone number, you could do that. You could do this. You could make them up and have people call me. Currently I'm not selling anything. I don't have, so apparently that's a little dead spot in the roadway there. So I know that there are people that have affiliate marketing with Amazon and that. I've looked into it. I may do that someday. My main point is not to do that. My main point is to expose the truth about everything. That's what I'm about. And now, because I want to go 65 and I'm on this road, I'll just get right on over and let everybody else go around me that wants to. It really makes it a lot easier. So the Tesla that just went by in the other lane, I could see it could see me. I waved to the quantum supercomputer that operates the network. There's another Tesla, a Pearl one, that went by. See, that's what I'm talking about. These people are wanting to go faster, and it just really makes it a lot more difficult. How counterintuitive is that? Instead of the person going the speed limit being the problem, that's what they think probably. Oh, look at that a-hole over there in his Truthmobile going the speed limit. Oh well, whatever. I mean, it works for me. I just go through so many speed traps a week. I don't want to have to deal with them. So I'll just do this. And I've done some longer live streams. I haven't even gone back and read the live chat. I deal with such an overwhelming amount of information that it gets kind of tough, and that's one of the reasons why I invite people to call me rather than a chatting back and forth, because, well, then we both know when we're talking. It's weird with texting, because it's like especially if I'm on a WhatsApp text or a text on Instagram, TikTok, or Facebook, I can be doing other stuff. I don't maybe get a notification. Maybe one of the platforms wants to not notify me, and then they may think, well, doesn't he care? What's going on with that? So now I'm going to go into the middle lane because there's people going to be merging. There's one of them. And this sets it up. I give it a little time earlier. And I know a lot of you know how to drive. And some of you may benefit from something I say or show you when I'm driving. That concrete that's all around us, this road project, probably over $100 million. It's really expensive to do all that. So now that I've gone past 2 on-ramps, I can just move right on over and let them do what they want to do. I try and be accommodating. I don't mind doing that. So in driving the vehicle around, I'm not only leaving an imprint on the through the Tesla network, there's also the red light cameras that's feeding into the artificial intelligence. I'm on a live stream caring about people, wanting your life to be better based on truth and relying on the power of the Holy Spirit to accomplish what He would like to do in and through you as well. I check my mirrors a lot. Man, there will be people coming so fast. T-Max. I saw that Mustang about 15 seconds ago. But he's not even moving that fast, but about 75. In the fast movers. I don't know if you saw the electronic sign to the side of the road. We're coming up in a couple of weeks on the first bike week. It's the Harley bike week, and then at the end of May we have what's called the Black Bike Week, or the Memorial Weekend Bike Week. I ride them all and I enjoy them. I'll go all around for that. Meet fascinating people there too. And as with the rest of humanity, there's a group of people that are actually pretty aware of a lot of what's going on, and their response to it may be to try and escape through chemicals once again. There's a lot of watering holes that the bikers go to, and I'll go there as well. I don't mind. I don't drink. I don't have an appetite for the alcohol. So one of the reasons why I share that is I used to. It was removed from me. It was taken away. I used to have an appetite for chasing around after women. I'm attracted to beautiful women. I just am not chasing after them. I'm a married man, so that attraction doesn't mean that that's sin. I can acknowledge a beautiful tree, a beautiful creation, I can acknowledge beauty without being a slave to a preoccupation with it. Or, I've got a G-rated view in my mind. I'm normally thinking about something that would be viewing for all audiences. So that's just the way it is for me. So when I was to have my appetite changed, rather than a direct effort to try and please myself, I just wanted to know what I was created to do, and then that's a developing story. So now with this car getting between 45 and 50 miles to the gallon, I can drive around and it's less than the fee for parking in the parking lot at the paid parking. I don't do that, but I don't just joyride. However, I do enjoy driving around. Another white Tesla. What I wanted to say with that too, I know that there are people in the truth community that don't like Elon Musk, don't like Tesla and all that. I understand that. I'm reaching out to everybody I can. Imagine, if you will, what would happen if Elon was made an offer he couldn't refuse, like me. And then what would happen if he said, hey, there's this guy that I kept on seeing in the, speaking of me, I ordered to a different category. Imagine that. But what I was going to say is, imagine if, because of my persistent reaching out to him, if God actually used that to help him understand the reality of the need to be born again, and that it actually happens. Just like somebody that's in between houses, like a homeless person. But imagine if it was one of the guys in the big club. I would think Elon's probably in the big club that George Carl, why am I pulling a blank on his name? George Carlin. The big club, and you're not in it. Well, I decided to put myself in it. Not in a way that I signed up for a blood oath with the Illuminati. I simply wanted to say, hey, y'all, you're going to need to get this right, or wish you did. More Teslas. What I wanted to say with that too is that some of you that just don't like Tesla for whatever reason, maybe because you don't like Elon and Starlink and SpaceX, another Tesla, all of those cameras see this car and everything else and update their driving experience worldwide. So it's a really amazing technology. And it's not isolated to Tesla. It's happening on other platforms as well. Google Earth is all around. The Google Street View and all that is happening too. And then all the AI cameras. That's why I put this together, is because I believe it's what I was supposed to do. And then so as I had an interesting thought, some would say, yeah, because you're exposing the truth about so much, people die around that, which is true. And yet, as I endeavor to do what I'm created to do, they have an opportunity to look into that, to look at that. The quantum supercomputers hypergaming humanity apparently can monitor our biofield and our optical nerves, see through our eyes and know what our brains are thinking about. Well, can they? For me, I don't know. I'm not sure. What a mind trip to think, for somebody, I've stolen, I've lied, I've deceived. Imagine coming up with the belief that the Big Brother knows what I'm thinking and doing and sees through my eyes and knows what I'm planning. Is that true? I don't know. I don't know if that system has access to me. To what level, I'm not sure. I don't know. So the water on the road is a liquid mirror too. I'm bouncing back to the reality that we're in. We've got rain falling down, we've got up and down, and then we've got the water seeking its level, filling the puddles, doing what it does. It reflects off of the lighting and is harvesting a lot of atmospheric nourishment, from nitrogen and trace elements to weather modification technology and nanoparticles, like that was shown in the movie Transcendence. They say they're doing it. We can see them spraying us all over. They're putting technology in the food, water, and air, and activating it with electronics and chemicals that are released because of our emotional perspective. When we're afraid, when we're happy, all of that different type of chemical concoction that affects the way that we operate. What kind of reaction time do we have? I can tell you I've got way quicker reaction time when I'm sober and have an ample supply of caffeine in me and other nutrients. There's nutrition in caffeine in the bean as well. So I've got a smoothie I had today that's got fruits and vegetables, apple cider vinegar, spinach, kale, broccoli, chia seed, whatever I feel like I want. Bananas, avocados, all healthy stuff. I mix it to taste. You can too. When I can get deals, I'll, like 40 pounds of bananas that are speckled brown, and I get them for 12 cents a pound, and I peel them and freeze them, and then I can add them to a smoothie whenever I want. Oh, that smoothie needs a little bit more sweetness in it. I'll just toss a banana in there. It's a little cooler, a little more fiber, and good to go. It's got fruit sugar in it. I'm okay with that. I just don't want to have an overwhelming amount of refined sugar. I would prefer in the fruit with the fiber. It creates somewhat of a lattice, apparently, that mellows out the delivery of it. Intermittent fasting allows my body to clean up after itself. So when I'm detoxing, I'm running a perpetual detox protocol, trying to reduce toxins from my body, from my thoughts and my eyes. As in deception, I'll acknowledge it and I'll load it on up there in the midst of the exposing it. And then in the bathing, when I jump into my reverse osmosis carbon filtered electrolyte enhanced water, right now I'm running it without electrolytes in it to start with. Okay, so it's very aggressive, and it's around 107 degrees normally, pretty hot, and I'll be in there for normally an hour to an hour and a half. And when I get out, I've lost, through sweating, anywhere from a half a gallon to a gallon of water, depending on my level of hydration. And then there's a lot of energy transfer. When the body heats up a lot, it transfers that energy out in the form or the toxins out in the way of sweating. I don't want to be sitting in a hot tub with a bunch of stinky old guys, and that foam on the water is their epidermis and oxycodone. Man, and whatever else, the body funk that comes off of people. So I'm not gathering in a hot tub with a bunch of grumpy old guys, or sitting in a sauna with a bunch of grumpy old guys. I don't know if you've seen that, but there's a lot of grumpy old guys around. I'm not one of those. I'm not like that. And so it's not just the toxins that are emanating from their body, from their mouth, now that we've had an injection throughout humanity. It's been injected into humanity through the food, water, and air, and other medical treatments that involve pills and potions and salves and directly into the bloodstream. I've got evidence of all of that. So a lot of you know that. This is just kind of like one more appeal, one more introduction to, hey, you might want to take a look at this stuff because it really matters. What's really cool is this little gas motor combines with the little electric motor, and they work out really nice together. How fun is that? So it's got a lot of torque, and on the highway, I just did a mileage check. I'm 45.6. The driving since I filled up right before my broadcast started. I can live with that just fine. It's totally cool. So the original Truthmobile is still on the driveway. I'll leave it there. And that works good for advertising to my neighbors for the planes that fly over, lots of them. And it's economical to do it that way. And then this one is really economical to drive around. If you know of another Truthmobile that's driving around, somebody doing something like this, please let me know. I know Joe Imbriano drives around in his car. I'm talking about a car that's a moving truth billboard. I don't know of another one. I didn't see it and think that that's what I want to do. Well, I did see it in my mind. In the theater of my mind, I saw it. So it was like a vision of that. I just saw it in my imagination, and I thought, I don't see anybody else doing it. But that's okay. That hasn't stopped me before. And then what the other development with the lanyard is it looks very different. I can wear a long wool coat, a sport coat, and black works really good. Like I mentioned before, I don't have a death fixation. It's not that. It's just that with what I do and where I go, it's a nice, good look, a nice blend of wardrobe and another Tesla, and it's easy to have it look clean. So as I mentioned, the having it look clean, I want it to actually be clean without toxins in it. So when I wash it with hot water, oh, I've got a brand new black outfit or a brand new black shirt. Well, I'll just go ahead and throw it in with all the other ones on hot, and it'll blacken it. So I'm getting my, you see what I'm saying? It's that uniformity. It streamlines my wardrobe combinations. It's real easy to go. I got black pants, black short, black long sleeve, short sleeve, easy. Real easy. Whoa. Last minute change of course. I'll show you. That's probably going to be okay, but it could be a problem. I wouldn't want to do that on a high-speed area. So the clean water is the universal solvent. It will help the molecular activity at a cellular level. So the electrolytes that I have in my bath now are coming right out of my body, and it goes from a higher concentration to a lesser concentration, from more heat to less heat. So when I am around 98.6 degrees or so, I jump into a bath of, 107 degrees or so. Then that temperature is seeking to get into me, and then my body is like a sponge being squeezed. I've got the toxins coming out of my lungs, whatever there is, the cellular activity. Then I've got the sweat coming out of my skin, which is whatever is in the sweat, the salts in that. Sweat tastes salty. It's got a taste to it. When I get in the bathtub and there's no taste, well, and then I'm in there for a while and I can taste salty, well, that's what's going on. So let's see what we got going on here. A lot of these faces of the regulars I know, they wave to me, I wave to them. It's a beautiful thing. And I give a high preference to the drive, what I'm doing. I'm not going to be on a live stream running down people or smashing into stuff. That's a pretty good way of doing the rain thing. I like that. Nice improvise. So a while ago, my friend Harko wanted me to check on his a package he was expecting to be dropped off at his house. And when I went there, his Tesla that was parked in the driveway recognized me there, created an event because I had walked by it in his driveway, and sent it to him. But, I was expected to be there. And then he's got, I believe it's a Ring doorbell. And so that monitors all that. I said, when he got back from the Thanksgiving visit, I said to him, there was no package delivered that I'm aware of. He said, well, it came in the mail. So I said, I didn't check your mailbox. So what I'm going to do here, and I've done this before, it's a pretty cool place. I have part of my exercise with what I do is to think of not just views as in video views. It's a whole way of thinking of how I get views wherever I am. Views of the car, views as I walk, what do people see, how does it look to them? And that's part of where the profiling exercise works for me. So, and I believe it works for all of us. How does it look to the others? The people that drive by, the people that are fueling up their cars. Look at how green all that is. Isn't that nice? Brand new leaves. Wet ones. A lot of wet. So that little bit of water on the lens actually works good to help with the cleaning it off. And the interesting thing about it, if you try cleaning a lens, and it'll work great for my glasses too. So how does this all work? What do we do with the mess that we're in, or the battlefield that we're on? And I think, or I believe, there's thinking and then there's believing. And how accurate is that actually? What can we do about it? Well, one of the benefits to being in a close relationship with the Almighty is He will give me direction and protection, like I said. There we go. So paper towel works really good for lens cleaning. And it's what I was going to say with when I do my laundry, I'll use the hot water and then typically a cup of boron and a cup of baking soda. Cleaners that don't have they're not toxic, they're non-toxic, and they're very effective. And hot water works to get the oil out better than the cold water, like the oil I put all over my skin. And some people have even said, oh, you look too oily. That's definitely a spouse kind of a thing. Oh, your hair looks greasy. Yeah, well, it's got oil on it. I'm good with all that. See, it's not showing up now. I can tell you I leave a pretty serious ring around the tub when I get out. And that's the tan skin that then when I open up my pores from the exfoliating and all that, it helps sweat better. And then this is that effort of trying to do it better, is that I'll put on this 50-50 blend of castor oil and coconut oil. I mix it together, and then I'll put it on my body before I go in the tub. And it may be almost an hour before I get in the tub when I've got the oil on me, all of me. And then, of course, there will be a little layer of oil on the top, but it's I believe has cleaning and releasing capabilities. So what I'm left with is nicely skin that's in really good shape. And I believe it's more effective to absorb the energy from the sun and to ward off infections, germs, all of that. My hands aren't cracking and splitting, and even if I did a lot of hard work, I still do, like automotive detailing, that can crack your hands like crazy, working with cleaners and lacquer thinner and that, like to clean my grips on my motorcycle or my disc brake, and the oil protects my skin from that chemical transfer. It's easy to clean my hands off. Another effort I have is I've got a dish in my sink that I have my sponge and my scrubby in, and I'll put I've got a martini shaker. I'll shake a little baking soda in there, little hot water. My sponge and scrubbies never stink because I use them regularly, often, clean them up good. I don't want to get sick. And you might think, well, why talk even about that? Why is that a thing? Imagine, let's say, I don't want the toxins of commercial cleaners in me, and I certainly don't want to get sick because I certainly don't want to go to a doctor or a hospital because I don't trust them. That's not being paranoid. That's, I believe, an accurate situational awareness. If in the last 4 years you haven't got the clue that that system isn't trustworthy, maybe the person you golf with or you go to coffee with is doing just fine, delivering babies and whatnot. They may, however, the last 4 years it's been ugly. I've got the contradiction in what they say and do all over my research library, which, by the way, you would need to go to the Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars document to be able to see a more full picture of it, because it's covering it. There's over 600 hyperlinks that go to platforms with less censorship. For some of you, this may be, you're familiar with all that. But keep in mind, I've said to people, would you like a card? They'll say, sure, give me one. Some of the people I know, I've said, have you been to any of my stuff in a while? And they haven't. They can ignore my channel. They can ignore me. They can ignore my research library. What people can't ignore is the truth that I've found. And others have found it too. I'm not saying I'm the only guy. I'm just one of the people that is wanting to expose the truth in a meaningful way so that people can make lifetime decisions that matter. In this mathematical equation of our life, we get a certain amount of money that passes, or purchasing ability that we have. And some of that purchasing ability, like Cat Williams, interesting story. I'm fascinated by what he did. I did some of the same kind of things that he did in that raising money when I was a boy, selling candy at school. Now that I know what I do about sugar, I would have a hard time with that. I'm not a fan of promoting sugar consumption because of how toxic it is. What he did though, there was a diner that he cleaned at, and he got to eat there for free. So he would perform cleaning services, and then he was able to eat there for free. You can hear his story, and he's exposing a lot of things that are very sensitive in nature. Now, just because Cat Williams can say it on a Joe Rogan podcast doesn't mean I can without having my channel taken down. But it's some of the most controversial, dark topics that our society deals with. And so there's a power elite that are, well, I'm not only human, I'm empowered by the Holy Spirit. And there is another power operating through those that are working the iniquity in this world, the mystery of iniquity. There are demonic entities, and in the Gospel of John, you can hear how Satan entered into Judas at the Last Supper. So Satan himself apparently entered into Judas, and the rest is, well, you can see he betrayed him. Okay, so there are those that are antichrist, as in against Christ or instead of Christ. So instead of Christ, you could think about it like this. There's a lot of gods in this world. There's a lot of so-called deities. Satan is the god of this world. The 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 benefit I have to speaking to potentially anybody in the world is, who do you serve? Who is your God? Is it you? When you look in the mirror, are you the primary one that you're trying to please? So what happened for me is I wanted to please God more than anything else, because he put that desire in me. And then he gives me his Holy Spirit to carry that out. Otherwise, I would be ill equipped to do that. The weapons of our warfare are not like the weapons of this world. When I say I'm literally not afraid to live, die, or tell the truth, I'm not kidding. I'm actually looking forward to see how this works out. Is there going to be just a mind-blowing interaction that God obviously protects me from? It could have already happened in this live stream and I not even know about it. So there would be things I would rather avoid than have to deal with the interaction, like a fight. I would rather have him take care of it for me, and he already did. He already won the victory, and we're basically we get to go out and tell other people that it's for real. So what a humbling thought that is. So we are ambassadors for the creator of the universe, the creator of everything. I'm speaking to all those that either are born again now or will be. I don't know who it is. I don't know who they all are yet. I don't know when I'll actually know that. What will it be like in heaven? I don't know exactly. It'll be good. I'm looking forward to it. And I remember before I was born again, I shudder to think about how I used to see it. Oh, I don't like the entertainment of those Christians carrying their Bibles and being yanked around by some woman pulling them to church with their little kids screaming, and all the memes that you can think about it. And what I saw in my own car and in my own life, what it was like. And now I understand that there is something way bigger going on. I was ill-equipped to handle what I was dealing with. I was spiritually deader than a hammer and didn't know it until I was actually born again. I thought I was born again in 1982 when I came to believe that Jesus was real. I cried and invited him in my heart and all that. Had an experience, got fully immersed, more than just sprinkled. Anyway, and then I was actually born again in 2014, as best I can tell, when I had an encounter with the Almighty. He made me an offer I couldn't refuse, from the standpoint of I didn't want to refuse. I came to believe that I had so much trouble and difficulty because I was operating in my own strength and I didn't know it. So the temple of God, we are a temple of God. He will dwell in us and live through us. So for those that are not going to have that experience, apparently they're having a malevolent spirit living through them. So I'm not afraid of them. Actually, they're afraid of us. I have testimonies in my library talking about those that were worshiping Satan and trying to affect Christians, and those that were, there were some they couldn't have any effect on. I believe I would be one of those, because I'm able to operate in a manner that I don't hear from many other what would be viewed as targeted individuals. Because I'm a Christ follower and I'm actually born again, I would believe I'm targeted. Because of the nature of what I'm doing, absolutely. Are they continually trying? I would think so. I would think so. So that's why I would say the protection of the Holy Spirit and direction of the Holy Spirit is priceless. Because what will it profit a man if he gain the whole world and lose his soul? Or what can a man give in exchange for his soul? So when I go to bed at night and I'm all kittied up, I've got three very adorable naked kitties. You can see them on my Facebook if you like. And I'll have the audio Bible playing in right next to me, and I'll listen to it all night. And he will incorporate it in my dreams. He gives me hope. He gives me perspective. It's an area of peace and quiet in the midst of a storm. He controls the storms and what they do ultimately. So I know that there's weather modification, weather wars, and I know that there's a lot of evil all around us. And I'm just grateful for the opportunity to get to do what I get to do. And I would like to see others enjoy I would like to see you enjoy your experience as well. So it stopped raining. Didn't stop blowing. Let's just see what it looks like out here now, and I'll do a finishing up of it. The coastal area also, the storms will blow through, and then it can get really nice as well. So, thank you so much for your public and private encouragement. This is Robert Forsch, exposing the truth about everything. Thank you so much. Whoops.